Welcome to the Lakers Nation news feed. My name is Trevor Lane. With me today, I've got Hanny Kulik, a writer for LakersNation.com, to break down some of the latest Lakers news. We got some interesting tidbits coming out today. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Trevor. How are you? A little rainy here in LA, but it's okay.
I'm doing pretty good myself. Can't complain too much. And you know what? We are 1 month away from the NBA trade deadline, which
I
means
know.
rumors are coming out. And our latest comes from Adrian Wojnarowski, of course, of ESPN, and he says that the Lakers have made three players available, two guys that we knew about and one that we
hmm
didn't. I'm talking about Jordan Clarkson and Julius Randle. Those are guys that have been rumored to be on the block for quite some time. But then that third surprise name, Larry Nance Jr. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know what, Trevor? When you said it back in the podcast that we did a few months ago, I thought you were completely insane. And now I'm like, oh my God, Trevor totally called it. I'm not 100% surprised. I don't think they're going to part with both Randall and Nance, but I think one of those guys could be gone. I think it's most likely to be Randall at this point, but you never know. I mean, if they get something good, then maybe they will give Nance up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting that the three guys are the three senior most players in terms of time with
hmm
the Lakers on the team. You have the three guys who have been there the longest, and those are the three guys on the block. So I don't know what that's going to do as far as locker room chemistry. We've heard quite a bit that that's been in their heads. I mean, when we had Larry Nance Jr. on the Lakers Nation podcast last week, he mentioned that it is something the guys are talking about, and this latest rumor certainly isn't going to do anything to stop that from happening.
Yeah, and you know what? These rumors are just so frustrating for me. It's like at some point, I just want something to happen already because it's like every day there's like all these rumors. And think about, no matter what the players say, even Larry was saying, it is something that kind of goes in on their mind. But imagine just like every day, you never know if you're going to get that call. That affects you. That affects you if you have, Julius Randle has a family now. Larry Nance Jr. has a fiance. It affects you. And I just want at some point, if they're going to do something, just do it already. I feel like there's always been these rumors with Randall and especially Clarkson too. It's like they're going to do something, then just pull the trigger and do it already. Stop making us like wait and wait. But I don't know. When is there not like rumors in Lakerland? Honestly, though, Trevor.
Sure, and not to go too far astray here, but as human beings, we crave stability. It's just kind of what we do. It's
Yeah.
even, it's even in our Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson talks about how we are predisposed to suffering through things as long as we can because we stick with what we know and what we're comfortable with. So change is scary. And so having your name pop up in a trade rumor for a player, it can be a pretty challenging thing to deal with, especially when basketball is a game where your mentality, your focus has to be there all the time. Now, do you have any sense for why the Lakers might be looking to trade Nance? Why would he be on the trade block along with Randall and Clarkson?
You know what? I honestly don't know. That's why I was a little bit shocked about it because I can totally understand where Randall's coming from. You're saying, listen, this summer we're going to have to pay him, a huge contract, 15 at least, probably 15 million, maybe even more. And, if you're really considering bringing in LeBron James or Paul George, you can't afford to do that. But, at some point, I don't know about Nance. Like, I don't really know necessarily why they'd want to get rid of Nance unless they know for sure that they're going to be able to get something for him.
Right, yeah. I mean, Nance, I think that he's got some positive value. I think that they can get something for him. Randall is another guy that they can certainly move. I think that there's going to be teams out there that are interested in Randall based on what we've seen this season. He's been really good. I am on Randall Island. I'm
Yes.
going to die on Randall Island, I think. But
You love Randall.
I'm hoping that he sticks around. But I don't know that he's going to. It feels like everything is pointing towards him not being part of the team. And I'm almost wondering if this is a factor here. Jordan Clarkson has 2 more years in his deal after this one, and he's due a little over 12 million and a little over 13 million. That's a big chunk of change for a team to take on. And I'm not sure that every team in the league will see Jordan Clarkson as a positive value. And then the same thing with Julius Randle, where if the Lakers trade him, how much are they really going to get with him having a free agency coming up? He's going to be a restricted free agent. They're going to have to pay him, like you said. So could Larry Nance Jr. be that piece that's adding a little bit of value from the Lakers side, maybe to a Jordan Clarkson trade? Because Larry Nance is only going to make $2.2 million next year. If you trade for him, you have a guy who produces, who can fill a lot of different roles and is on a very, very cheap deal. So I think he definitely has some positive value there that a team like the Lakers might have to attach to, say, Jordan Clarkson in order to convince another team to make a move and give up the expiring contracts that they need. And of course, from the Lakers side of things, the fact that Nance has money on the books for next year only complicates their whole free agent situation. $2.2 million isn't a whole heck of a lot. But at this point, every penny is going to count when the Lakers are trying to free up these 2 max salary slots. The question is it worth it at this point? Is it worth it to make all of these moves if it means that you get to land a max free agent, a LeBron James and a Paul George? Do you think it's worth it for the Lakers to move Nance and Randle and Clarkson if that's the end result?
That was exactly what I was going to bring up in my next point, is that this just really concerns me, because if we do get rid of Nance, Randle, and Clarkson, or even just Randle and Clarkson, and then this summer comes and we get no one, we're really left with not too much. I mean, let's say the thing with me is, like, I almost don't want to trade anybody, because if we can get Paul George and DeMarcus Cousins next summer, we can just add them into this team, then I think we're really set and I think we're pretty good to go. But it really concerns me to trade Randle and to trade these guys without having some sort of confirmation that we're for sure going to be able to sign a Paul George or a LeBron James or DeMarcus Cousins, because I don't want to come next season and us be like even worse than this season, have literally no one, which could very well happen.
Yeah, and that's a great point. You know, if they go ahead and move Clarkson at the trade deadline, which they can't get Paul George and LeBron James or Paul George and DeMarcus Cousins without moving at least some of these pieces. So if they move Jordan Clarkson at the trade deadline and then they strike out in free agency, then you just lost a young player who is a productive player. He's not a star, but he fills a role on the team, and you've lost him for nothing really, except for whatever you were able to take back in trade, which isn't going to be that much because the Lakers are restricted to only getting expiring contracts. And that's actually something that I talked about in a piece I just wrote for LakersNation.com, that the problem with trading Jordan Clarkson is that a lot of his value is going to get killed in having to bring back an expiring contract. Teams value those, and so they're going to see that as giving the Lakers something in exchange for Clarkson. They'll just be getting cap relief. So if they don't, or if they're able to move Clarkson and they just get an expiring contract back, that's probably about all they're going to get for him. Maybe they pick up a second rounder or something, but that's going to be not much compensation if they do strike out with all that cap space. And the same thing is true with the D'Angelo Russell trade as well. So the Lakers are going to have a lot of pressure on them already, and if they make these moves now, that's going to put even more pressure on Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka to get something done this summer and land these max free agents. Maybe they're hearing through back channels that these guys are coming. Maybe Paul George is making it known that, hey, OKC's playing well right now, but I'm still coming. I'm on my way. Then, hey, this all makes a lot of sense. But if not, this is a huge, huge risk for the Lakers to be taking. And Adrian Wojnarowski in his piece did mention that the Lakers, despite the story that came out a few weeks ago that Jordan Clarkson could be moved in the summer, that the Lakers and Clarkson, this is a mutual thing, are both pushing for this to happen sooner rather than later, which to me that means before the trade deadline. I thought that was really interesting that it's mutual. So Jordan Clarkson is very well aware that he's on the trade block and the Lakers are trying to find a new home for him. Are we going to see that play out on the court at all? Do you think that's going to impact the Lakers' play?
Listen, I can understand where Jordan Clarkson can be extremely frustrated. This is a guy who, in my opinion, has been one of the most loyal Lakers of the last few years, since the Lakers brought him a few years ago. And, he's really been a guy who, in my opinion, has been one of the most consistent Lakers. He's been, his position and his role with the Lakers has changed. He was originally a shooting guard. Then they asked him to play, the point guard. And he's done whatever they've asked him to do with a smile on his face and to the best of his ability. And I know this season he's been a little bit rocky in terms of his scoring. The last game he was obviously very good. But I feel bad for Jordan Clarkson. I think he's a player that's extremely disrespected. I'm not even saying with the front office or anything, but even with the fans. People never really give him credit. I'll watch, NBA or something, and they'll be talking about Lonzo Ingram, and Jordan Clarkson will have had a great game as well, and just no one ever mentions him. So I feel bad for Jordan Clarkson. I feel like he's extremely disrespected sometimes, and I think he deserves a lot more credit than he gets.
Well, he doesn't have the shiny new toy factor going for him. He's been around for a while. He's been a Laker for some time, and so he kind of is what he is at this point. They don't have that that sense of, oh, he could be something amazing in the future, right? I mean, Lonzo's 20 years old, so you think, man, he could really, this kid in 3 years, what's he going to look like? In 4 years, what's he going to be like? Jordan Clarkson is a lot closer to his ceiling already, so that's, I think, a factor in Jordan Clarkson getting overlooked, really. I mean, and that's what's happening. But it's going to be really interesting to see how Clarkson reacts. And Clarkson is pretty steady. But Julius Randle is another story. He can sulk a little bit. And so this fresh trade rumor that's out there, hopefully that's not going to impact his play. And Larry Nance Jr. too. I mean, he's a guy who really wears his heart on his sleeve and leaves it all out on the floor. So that's something that we're going to have to watch for to see if this impacts the Lakers' chemistry out on the court, dealing with all these trade rumors, because it's not going to die down for the next month. All the way up until the trade deadline, we're going to be hearing all about this.
Oh, yeah, no, I even texted you the other day, when is there ever not drama for a Lakers season? It just seems like every season we always go into it saying this is going to be our drama-free season. We have it's just every season there's just something new, something that always goes on. So it's Los Angeles, what can you expect, though?
Hey, it's par for the course. It's the way it is being a Laker, but for young players, it's not always easy to deal with.
Oh, no.
So before we get out of here, though, the Lakers did actually make one, or are on the verge, actually, as of this time, of making one real move, right? We know that they waived Andrew Bogut the other day, and they did that in order to let Bogut go sign up with a contender, which is the right thing to do for a veteran player like that. But they also did it because it freed up a roster spot for them, and they're going to try to chase shooters. And it looks like they've already settled on a guy who actually started a number of games for the Los Angeles Clippers this season, was just recently released by them, and that is Jamil Wilson. So what do you think about this move? We got a 6'7" swingman, kind of a small forward / power forward. Guy can shoot the three, shot 43% for the Clippers from deep. Is this a good move?
It's not a move that has me jumping up and down, but he played very well for the Clippers. And I think, that 43% from three, obviously the Lakers really need a guy who can, shoot some threes. He's going to play the small forward position, like you just said. So he'll back up Ingram. He'll probably take Corey Brewer's spot if he's able to be, a consistent 3-point shooter. So I'm not freaking out over it, but it could be a nice pickup. He played well for the Clippers. So, it'll always help. If he can shoot, then I am all for it.
I mean, hey, this guy started when Blake Griffin was out. He can play power forward. I think that the Lakers are more likely to use him at small forward because, well, they've got a logjam at power forward already.
Yeah.
But at small forward, he could get some minutes. It's only a 10-day contract. So, what do they have to lose here? If he doesn't work out, in a week and a half, they just go add somebody else, right? I mean, I'm a little disappointed they didn't get Gerald Green because he's been blowing up for the Houston Rockets. If they had made this move a few weeks before, maybe they could have been in the running for him. But you know what? Let's give this guy a shot and see if he can bring something that the Lakers need.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Another guy that I was interested the Lakers didn't go after, and I heard recently that the Knicks are trying to close in a deal with, is Trey Burke. I thought he would have been a really nice pickup for the Lakers, but for some reason they didn't want him. So hopefully this Jamil Wilson will be good. And, like you said, it's only a 10-day contract, so there isn't really too much to lose and only, potential for up. So
yeah, no Trey Burke for now. So we are living in a Tyler Ennis and Alex Caruso world for the backup point guard spot. Hey, they try hard, but they just can't really replicate what Lonzo does. But few can.
Yeah.
So let's see. Jamil Wilson, we'll see how he does. Hopefully he can continue that hot shooting. Career-wise, he's a 37% three-point shooter. So this is actually a little bit of a step up what we've seen him doing for the Clippers. Could be a bit of a hot streak, but again, this is a no-risk move, so why not? Why not give it a shot and see what happens? Hannah, anything to add before we get out of here?
Just say a prayer that the Lakers win tomorrow night. Okay, they finally got a win last night, and I was so happy. I was almost in tears because they really needed that win.
Yep.
Didn't matter that, they were playing the worst team in the league. They needed it more mentally than anything. So hopefully now we can just kind of have a fresh start and just get back to playing how we were playing more in the beginning of the season when things were rolling a little bit more for us.
Absolutely. And let's hope that we finally get to see the De'Aaron Fox versus Lonzo Ball matchup that everybody has been pining for so long. And one player or another apparently ducks it because neither one wants to take on the other guy, right?
I know, right? Hopefully this will be the time they actually play together or play against each other for the first time.
Yeah, ever since that crazy college game where De'Aaron Fox got the better of him. So hopefully Lonzo will bring his A game when they take on the Sacramento Kings. Well,
Lonzo should be out for revenge for sure.
Yep, revenge game, Lonzo Ball.
Yes.
So that's going to wrap things up for us today. Hannah, thanks so much for joining me to help me break down all of this crazy Lakers news. And of course, we're going to be here a lot this next month because trade deadline coming up. It gets to be silly season in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, it's just getting started, but I'm always so excited to come on. So thank you so much for having me.
All right, that's it for us today. Guys, make sure you check back here for all the latest. My name is Trevor Lane, and this has been the Lakers Nation Newsfeed.